All right, the time's now 3:07 p.m. on Tuesday, January 27th. I'm calling to order the Fiscal Subcommittee for our regularly scheduled meeting. If we would all please, actually, roll call. Mr. Enos.
Here.
Mr. Ginolfi.
Here.
Ms. Townsend.
Present.
Superintendent McCaffrey.
Present.
Mr. Mark, absent. And Mr. Ray, also absent. At this time, if we would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those viewing from home at a later date, please excuse my appearance. We had a snowstorm today, and so I'm dressing down a little bit for the first time ever. We have 3 matters of business before us today. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Enos for the first item. It's a discussion of the school lunch debt policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for many years, the district where I came from, starting in January, my school lunch debt cap started to come on. And it was primarily getting ready for the spring graduation, senior events, and so all of that. So just to sort of keep you informed. So as of in the beginning of January, when I first ran these reports, just the seniors just the seniors. So Pilgrim High School had at that time approximately $6,500 in debt, and Tollgate High School had about $4,800 in debt. So almost $11,000 in school lunch debt for seniors, ranging from, minus $1 up to, at one school, $900 a student owes. And so we would start to communicate that out to the schools, and we've been doing that all along, but just sort of bring it to the school's attention, saying this particular student has this level of debt. And that was because the district where I came from, the message was clear. The message was clear from the top down, from the school committee down, that all debts must be settled prior to graduation. And so they took into consideration, when all the dances are coming up. Well, you couldn't buy a ticket to the dance or to the prom if your debt was higher than $10. So I just wanted to bring this to the forefront to see what has been the past practice here, and getting a sense of how Warwick has handled things in the past. I gave you a copy of the current school lunch policy that we have, and the one from the district where I came from. They're pretty similar, but just wanting to bring this issue forward and to see if there were any concerns that you've had, because at some point, ultimately, what the district has done in the past is, so any unpaid debt a couple of years ago was cleared off by the district and covered by the general fund. So that can range anywhere from like $200,000 to $300,000 for the year. So that's all I have.
So I'll open it up. I appreciate you bringing this forward and identifying this as an opportunity for improvement. I certainly recognize there are families struggling within our district, but who was the individual before Miss Kristen Murray? Dr. Cecil. Dr. Cecil worked very hard with the district and probably many others to create that War Cares application, which features kind of a portal for people to go on and apply for free or reduced lunches. So the opportunities are there for people to be able to capitalize on it. And as a district, I hope that we continue to push that and advertise it. but I support an amendment to this policy because
And we certainly have, I can say that we've really been trying to promote the applications all along. And the only thing is that the application will take care of the debt from that month only. So if I applied mid-month, we can go back to the beginning of the month and claim it. It doesn't take care of the previous debt that settled. Yes, we know that there are families and students who are struggling. And so we like to bring these issues to the schools because obviously the schools have a better handle on certain circumstances that have taken place. We have met with West Bay CAP to get a better understanding about their program and that $100,000 or so from the Chobani money that was from years ago. And so we've been trying to send families there to sort of access funds as they seem to qualify. But again, the message was very, very clear where I came from. All debts to the school department must be settled. The taxpayers are not on the hook for covering folks' debt. So I just, having that emblazoned in my head for so many years, I just wanted to sort of see what the Warwick way was. On that.
No, and I appreciate you bringing it forward. I have a motion that I'll make, but I want to hear from my colleagues on the committee here what their thoughts are. But I agree with the change, that a change is needed. It's not like we're telling children that we're not going to give them lunch. There are services or programs available to members of the public that they can capitalize on. And so I would urge my colleagues to look at this critically as well.
Yeah.
So.
And there are some cases where the debt just sort of, the debt just lingers and lingers and lingers. And then if they happen to move and then that debt didn't get cleared and then they move back and they become active, guess what?
Resets.
It comes back. So, so there are just certain circumstances and we really want to support the schools, as much as we can and to give the schools the sort of the meat and the backbone for what they need.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. Anybody else have anything on this?
No, I know that there was a transition period from COVID and the funding that existed during COVID that really changed the food service program at the time, and it's impacted how we've operated since then. I think what Craig brings to the table is great. It's something we need to look at, and as a committee, decide if that's the direction we want to move forward in, or it's something that we want to do further investigation. I want to thank Craig.
Thank you.
Information to the table.
Mr. Gino.
Just curious, but did you look at any other districts? What they do is this.
No, I haven't had time. But the East Providence, they have the policies are pretty similar. The sort of the message was always clear, and the enforcement through the regular communications that the principals had with students and families was sort of, debt must be cleared, in order to buy a ticket for the senior prom. We're going to be we also work closely with the social workers and the guidance counselors. So this way, everyone sort of helped out. There are certain circumstances that happen.
Yeah.
So,
Ms. Townsend, you have any?
My thought is that if there's any way that we can help parents, I know we put it out there. I know we can't take everybody by the hand, but I know that at our school in particular, there are some of our students whose parents, we knew they were eligible, so kind of like roundabout way, just kind of sent it home and put their name on it, and you know what I mean? Like, I think that once parents see that form come home and it's filled, a lot of it's filled in, not their income, obviously,
right.
But it made it easier for somebody to check a box and sign their name. I don't know. I'm not, again, taking parents by the hand, but it's the students who aren't getting the lunches, or it's the district that's incurring the debt.
So would any, I'll make a motion here on behalf of the committee.
Point of information.
Hold on, we're not a public comment,
No, but it's point of information. Robert's rules, I can do a point of information.
not for public comment.
No, it's-
A member of the committee can. We can take public comment, but members of the committee,
It's a point of information.
members of the committee
Member
can,
of the public's,
the public
it's
is,
germane. I just want,
we-
it'll, whatever.
I'll, does it, is there any opposition from members of the committee to accept a point of information from a member of the public? Any opposition? Any opposition? Seeing none? Go ahead.
The school department already withholds cap and gown from seniors who have not paid their library debt, who have not turned in uniforms, who have not turned their books in. So they either have to turn these things in or pay. And the department already prevents them from getting their cap and gown to be able to graduate.
So like the seniors all.
For seniors, that's what he was talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Helpful,
If-
helpful information.
if my colleagues wouldn't object, I'm gonna make a motion that we allow Mr. Enos to produce a policy based on research of what other districts are doing that addresses what I would call kind of an old policy here. It was last revised in 2024. So, it's about a little over a year older, and it could use some revision now that we have these programs available. So my motion would be for him to create a policy that he would send on to the policy subcommittee on behalf of this finance committee.
Second,
Second by Mr. Genolfi. Any discussion on the motion made? So I think we, on behalf of Ms. Townsend, I would like to address her idea as part of that. Maybe you've listed the meetings with the principals having meetings. I imagine that would probably still be something standing.
Yep.
So I think as part of that, maybe the letter that's or the form that's already filled out would be something good to add in there. So that way they're just going, okay, yes, I can sign to this. Obviously, we have to address your concern in that policy of somebody getting the benefits, mid-month and prior debts not being rectified. So, or reconciled would be a better word. So if we could look at that.
And two, we're looking at switching our software for the program for next year. The current program no longer really meets our needs, and there's a better product
Yeah.
that's roughly around the same price,
Sure.
but will give us a much better result and is much more user friendly on both the parent end and on the school department end.
Great. That sounds
That
good,
would be for next year.
especially the better price component. So,
Yeah, yeah.
any other comments on this? Mr. Genolfi?
on our president, who is the person in charge there? From our system, what's the title there? Cameron. Coordinator of non-instructional services. Who is
That'd
that?
be Kaylee.
So does that, and this is the most recent East Providence of 2017.
Yep. Yep.
That's it?
Anything else from members of the committee on this motion? All right, again, so the motion is to have Mr. Enos develop a policy that would then be sent on to the policy subcommittee for review and amending, and then sent on to full committee for adoption. So being that there's no other comments from members of the committee, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We have a second item of business before us. At the request of the full committee, resolution was sent to our finance committee requesting that we develop as a team an implementation update on Munis, the new enterprise resource platform for Warwick Public Schools. So, Mr. Enos, if you want to kind of
Sure.
discuss that.
Sure. Since I started here in June, actually, when I was working a couple days in May, reached back out to the project manager from Munis. And during the summer, starting in July of 2025, we began in earnest A restart of the trainings and the work that we needed to go live. We have, 3 phases to the implementation. The first phase is the general ledger, which will be all the financial aspects, accounts receivable, accounts payable. That's all going to go live on July 6th, 2026. That will then be followed by the payroll, which will be going live on January 1, 2027. And then the third phase will be the human resources modules, which will be, our goal is to go live for that on July 1, 2027. In terms of the general ledger side, we have probably been meeting consistently with the trainer virtually between 4 to 6 times each month. We've had extensive homework. I cannot thank the financial department team who has just rolled up their sleeves and has been able to get the job done. We've had an incredible amount of work. It's given us a good opportunity to revisit procedures, see where maybe we needed to redo some policies. But we are in very good shape for a go live in July 6th of 2026. The payroll side, we just met with the project manager and the trainer a couple weeks ago. So we are starting to put together our information for that with a full charge of munis that we need to go live on January 1, 27. So we can have the W-2s for 2027 coming out of one software and not for 2, because we want to be done with our current software on December 31st, 2026. So we have a tight plan, very, very tight, but everyone is very excited to move over to this much more robust and easier to use platform. The third phase is going to be the human resources. While a lot of that background and setup work is going to happen because it's part of the payroll, the other portions of it will come in at a later point in time. The trainer thought that we were biting off much more than we could do. And he thought that having us go live for January 1, while doable, is going to take a lot of time. I would rather see us focus on having that done and having it done well. I would envision that what's going to be happening is because a lot of the chart of accounts, so for every employee that has their account number, all that work is done. So probably by end of November, we're going to be running payroll in two systems. So this way, the new system will be processing it, so we can make sure that it's matching for what we currently have, and all of the deductions are going fine. So this way, by January 1, we can officially flip the switch. Any questions?
Yeah, good. Oh, no, please open it up.
Who's the company?
It is called Tyler Technologies is the parent company. The
I
product
just
is,
hope it's not the one that's doing the state,
no,
because it's a disaster.
no.
And they years planning it. It's a total, even it's still today. I mean, is there any way, and again, I'll take the other expert, to do like a small group first and make sure everything runs well
So,
before it goes system-wide?
yeah, so in terms of the general ledger side, we are going to be fine. We've all been trained a lot in it. We're very well versed. Not that we're not going to have bumps along the way. Obviously, payroll, it is very important to pay people appropriately, and that's why you have a good 8 weeks worth of payrolls running in the two systems, so you can compare the two, so you can make sure that what's going
No,
on
it's a good safe.
in one system, that you have the same thing going on in the new. And by doing that crosswalk, you can avoid having the problems, because just by doing a flip of the switch,
It's not the same company.
no, nope, not at all. Munis is what the city of Warwick uses. So it's, it's gonna be good. And I should note too, in the spirit of being one, so when we had the trainer on site in September for 3 or 4 days, and we had set topics for each day. And so I said to my city colleague, I said, Lynn, I said, on these days, we're doing accounts receivable and accounts payable. I said, if you have anyone who wants to sit in on the training, I said, they're more than welcome to come. And they actually came, and there are actually a couple of people who said that they actually learned a few things. So it was good. It was good.
Anything else? Mr. McCaffrey, anything? Ms. Townsend? Just for our knowledge, who on your team, either yourself or someone else, is taking point on this project?
So on this portion, on the general ledger portion, it's Yarman and I, Yarman being the primary person. On the payroll project, it's going to be Tracy, but with the finance department providing her the supports as needed. Tracy has gone through the payroll conversion in the district where she came from, so that's great. So she can already speak to the bumps in the road that they hit. So,
Okay, you ready for this rapid fire?
sure.
Second question would be, have all other departments that would be utilizing the system started to begin giving their input to the team of what they would like to see the ERP look like?
So our ERP is pretty well set by the procedures and processes that we currently have.
Okay,
And as we've been going along, if there's things where we can sort of work smarter, not harder, we have been doing. The trainer will be on site for about the middle of June for about 4 days. And we're going to have scheduled times to work with the appropriate personnel on those particular topics. We already have our set handouts that we're going to be having. We're going to be making our own video clips for training our staff. So if they know, hey, I need to create a vendor, or, how do I do this? We're going to have a library of resources already set up for the staff. So
next question. Have you guys already begun engaging the city, because they're using the Munis system, and we talked about how the two systems would kind of like interact with one another so they could kind of see loose. Okay.
So it's their chart and our chart.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be talking to each other per se, but for what we need to provide to them, it's going to be very similar.
Okay.
And we'll have a very similar feel.
Okay. The last question, what would you need from this committee or the full school committee or the superintendent to possibly pull forward your implementation? And before you answer that, I recognize that implementation of the system is extensive. I've been a part of ERP implementation before, and it's a big job. But for the taxpayers and for the school district, we approved this in 2024, I believe,
Yep.
right at the end of 2024. So I'm just trying to think of how we can get to the point of, because we're paying for the existing system.
Yeah.
And that contract's got to be coming to a close very soon as well, correct?
Correct.
So what do you need from this committee or from the school committee to maybe pull that forward? So we're not paying, we don't have that redundant payment there of two systems without, of course, impacting quality of data and information, and impacting operation.
So we are just, so it's a little early for me to answer some of that, because we are just starting to do the payroll, the gathering of the data for the payroll,
Okay.
because all of that is tied into the contracts. So that's the driving
The
force.
CBA contracts or the
The
contracts with
CBAs,
AEP or?
right? So
Okay.
we have the WTU, and we have the whys. We have Excel sheets that we have to fill out, that we have to give to the trainer, who will then take all of that and get it going. Now, the good part is that at least on the chart of accounts side of life, our chart of accounts is already done and in. It is the intricacies of how things are set up and how human resources would sort of like to have it set up. So maybe there are some changes that human resources gonna want to make. What we've been able to do is, I think over the past few months, is really open up the lines of communication between finance, HR, and so we're all kind of like, we're in it together. It's not just HR doing the payroll piece. Is like, well, no, because you need to work with payroll office, you need to work with the finance staff, because everything is tied in.
Okay.
So I think the thing that I will need when it comes to the budget time is, you're gonna see, yes, we're gonna have our current software, we're gonna have, unfortunately, have to pay for the full year, but that's also because of the just in case, right? So the what ifs. So there is gonna be an expense for the current software, but also for the new.
I lied to you. One more question. Does the current provider know we're making the transition?
Yes.
To the new, okay, so
Correct.
they
Yeah, we
understand that
informed them.
if the committee approved another year, it would be just a year.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Any other comments from members of the committee on Munis? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to approve this update as the update to be sent to the full committee for presentation on February 10th.
Motion.
Made by Mr. Genalti, seconded by Mr. McCaffrey and Ms. Townsend. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So appreciate you giving this update on February 10th. You could forward this over to Ms. Tedeschi if that's, unless you want to add anything else. And then that could be the update from the finance subcommittee.
Sure.
I would maybe just amend it to include that last bit.
Okay.
So that we're going to pay for another year of the
Okay.
current, just so that way people, when we get to that point, it
Yep.
eliminates the question.
Sure.
Last item of business before this committee is discussion of wealth tuition FY27. I'm looking for a motion to move approval on this item.
So moved.
Made by Mr. McCaffrey, seconded by Mr. Enos. Any discussion? Go ahead.
So just to plant a seed for thought. Welk tuition. So been meeting with the principal over at Welk and trying to get a understanding. There's been some changes of leadership over at that space, and just trying to get a handle on the billing and all that. I think we are pretty much set. The one piece that we're struggling, we're struggling with, the one piece. So I like to see a gradual increase in tuition, which we did that for this year. I wanted to ask what the committee thought of a minimal penalty fee for tuition that is not paid in a timely fashion. Now, given the fact that this is a great service that is for our students, we're providing a good service for the community, and the committee may say, Craig, don't even go down that road. But I just wanted to float that out there as a possibility to adding into the tuition fee for next year.
So if you wouldn't mind, I think it's a great idea. However, I imagine we all probably have the same question in our head, and that is, what would the penalty be? What would the time frame be? So rather than rush it, would you mind if I make a motion to table this for
Sure.
1 month, and then you come back with what you see those penalties be, what that cost may be, when people would be penalized or would not be penalized, I guess would be more important to me because again, we got to look back at, are there financial challenges in the household? So if you document and outline all of that, then we could obviously have a greater
Okay.
conversation on this.
Okay.
I would want to be honest with you and my colleagues on the committee that it would be tough for me to vote yes.
I'm not asking you to
a
vote
number.
yes. I just wanted.
Stop yelling at us.
I
We're
just
just having a casual conversation. Where did you get, what's
just
the
wanted to
issue
get a
today?
gauge.
Just
That's all.
hung out with Teresa
Rob-
too much.
Robert's rule. I can.
So,
I
would you, before I make my motion, would you like to weigh in on the gauge? here?
have a question. What is the current policy?
So current
Do we
policy.
have, is it in writing?
So we just have the tuition rates.
Yes,
So, and that's all we have. So we don't have a penalty fee,
there's nothing,
nothing in there. Nope.
are we looking at raising the rates too? Is that a
Um,
consideration or is it just
So
I think we did
penalty
that.
aspect?
we just did that.
when was that?
We just did it for January 1.
Went past it.
Yep, yep.
And it was an incremental change. It was like $25 for half day, $50 for
Yeah.
full day, something to that. I don't have my notes before me.
So
No, for the whole tuition,
Sorry, I
yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you. I
For
should-
the whole week?
the month,
Yeah, for the
The
whole.
The month.
the month,
Oh, for the
For the
month.
month.
for the
Oh,
month.
So what is the number?
So
I don't
275,
know.
And
$275
For,
for the month,
for the whole month.
for the whole month.
Okay,
And then $195 for the month for a half day.
for half day. Do we have a lot of people in arrears? I mean, what's this?
We do, and you have some people that go, there are some that left this past year and, didn't pay. So, yeah,
So what is the revenue generated? Do we know that? Or is this something you need to look up?
I need to look up.
All right, because I'd like to know what is the revenue generated,
Sure.
how much has not been paid?
my general comment on Welkin as a whole,
Mhm.
just a great place for the kids and for the
Yeah.
community. As far as a cash cow for the district, it's more of an expense or what I would call
It's never gonna generate.
an investment, yeah. If you take the total amount of personnel there,
And we are required, RIDE requires us to have a certain number of peers, non-disabled peers.
yeah, so
So,
you don't, but Ms. Townsend's been waiting patiently.
No, that was exactly what I wanted to
Yeah.
add, that, the district is required to provide in accordance with state ride law, I call it ride law, that there be so many peers
Mhm.
included.
Right.
And so many IPs, there's percentages. I mean, it's just like that in our schools, but there's different rules for preschool.
Yeah, when we look at the total cost to operate that facility, which Director Enos brought up, last meeting for the school committee, it had been years since we did an increase in the tuition. So the district was losing even substantially more money because of obviously labor rates have gone up, material rates for, paper towels, soaps, things of that nature. Utility rates have gone up and nothing ever followed it. We stayed flat here. So, when he proposed the rates to the full committee, before it was like, it wasn't substantial, but it was enough to just close the gap a little bit. And I think it was a healthy start, but, yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts on him exploring
and
penalty policy?
I'll bring back some
Yeah, it's
more.
always worth, you can just, when you get it, send it to I'm just curious how much the deficit, not the deficit.
And they're great.
Yeah.
They're great. So, anything else from members of the committee on this? So I'll make the motion to table until the February meeting, allowing Mr. Enos to come back and provide Mr. Ginolfi's additional information or request, and also see what you would propose as the penalty.
So,
Seconded by Mr. McCaffrey. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I,
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have public.
I have a question before public comment. In the past, I had requested that we get things ahead of time. I don't know if we got all these ahead of time.
I don't-
We might have, because yesterday was a snow day, so I'm not gonna say we didn't, because Barbara was playing catch up with things, but just for the future, if we can get things, I think I had made the Friday before the meeting, we get the documents.
I will say, so usually I am last minute. However, for this meeting, I was right on the money. So, and whether or not Teresa had sent them out,
She may have,
that I don't know,
right.
but I know for once I was,
If we can get them to Friday before, that would
Good
be
job,
great.
Greg.
Yeah.
usually I'm not.
And a lot of them are things that are just minor, but just in case.
Absolutely.
And like I said, we were out most of the day, running around doing things, and Barbara, they may have been there, Barbara didn't have time to go through all these emails, so.
We'll just blame Barbara when she watches this. Sorry, Barbara.
That's it.
It's,
I have nothing else.
all right. Next, we're on to public comment. Individual comments will be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with public comment not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. Public comment. I believe we only have one here. Would you like to, any comments?
Sure.
Let's get wild too because of the snowstorm. Anyone opposed to giving her 4 minutes? Are there any objections?
Yes.
Is that a true objection? Are these true objections? Ms. Necko, I didn't see them raise their hands.
Both of them will pay.
It did make me laugh though at the last meeting when you preempted her with that. Miss Necko, longtime resident.
Because then I could save her at least 20 seconds of her time. I'm working with her, you know? Ms. Necko, 4 minutes. I didn't see any logical reason to acknowledge those. Go ahead.
No, I know the subject of lunch debt is touchy because obviously, you know, we are in a situation where people have financial issues and so on, and we would never want to deprive a child of a meal or so on. This district went down that crazy road with sun butter sandwiches, and we don't want to do that again. But there are people out there with the capacity to pay, and they are not paying their debt. And I know there was a time a couple of years ago where at the school committee meetings, we had a monthly update of how much the debt was as it rose each month. You know, 80,000, 100,000, $135,000. And because this district is in a budget crisis, thanks to the city not properly funding the school system, and thanks to a budget commission that has dragged its feet and, you know, not done what it was supposed to do in a timely fashion either. I guess it behooves the school department to try to save money or recoup funds wherever they can. And so there does need to be a concerted effort to make sure that the people with the capacity to pay are paying their bills. And the people without the capacity to pay are directed to the proper organizations and the federal funds that exist for them to be able to get free lunches. And regarding the idea about withholding from seniors, at least, privileges like dance tickets and so on. Like I said earlier, we already do that with cap and gown. Kids can't walk across the stage and graduate unless they've settled up their debts. So I don't see any problem with adding this as one of those debts. And if we can concentrate on all the students and not just seniors, even if it's with seniors, it's like, you don't pay, you're not doing this, this, and this, but there has to be some way, monthly reminders, or I know at one time the school committee in the past had floated, you know, like past due notices and so on. Because it is by the end of the year, it is a substantial amount of money that the school district and therefore the taxpayers are on the hook for. Whereas there are people out there who can pay that aren't. And as I just alluded to, we are in this situation with the city. Hopefully, at some point, the city council will formally take up the $2.1 million that this district is owed. And if they approve it, that would be the right thing to do. If they don't approve it, then this district can move forward with whatever litigation, i.e. Peru election, it may see fit. So that's more of a comment on the finance as a whole and directed to the city side. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment?
There's none on the table.
Mr. Kane, any comments for Finance Subcommittee, public comment? Not seeing none. All right, we'll close it. Seeing that there's no other members of the public wishing to comment, the next item is our next meeting. So the week of February 16th is obviously the school vacation. So I don't know if
We
you.
do Tuesday, the 24th.
That leads me to the next question. Would somebody on this committee be willing to lead the meeting? I take one vacation a year. That's a week long. St. Patrick's Day is the other vacation day I take. So that stated, that week, I'm going to be tanning and burning down in Florida. So,
Oh,
23rd.
yes, and I would hate to do a virtual meeting. I feel that just does an injustice
just want
to
to make
that.
a March meeting?
That brings us to the third option. You could do the week of the 2nd.
That's even
Any
better.
opposition?
No opposition.
Make it the March
Okay.
meeting.
Second.
March 3rd, it's a Tuesday. Anybody opposed to March 3rd,
Point
Tuesday?
of information again, does the policy?
You keep breaking rules,
That's not, no, Robert's Rules of Order, you could do
You
a point of
can't,
information.
but the members, you're killing me
No, you
today.
can. No, anybody can stand up and go, point of information. March
That-
3rd's policy. Probably.
March 3rd.
So March 4th,
What day of the week?
anybody
That's a
opposed? It's a
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
No,
That's your.
that's fine.
No opposition.
Yes.
No opposition.
I said yes.
You're opposed. Okay. March the 2nd, it's a Monday.
March
Opposition.
1st?
No, March the 2nd, it's a Monday.
Oh, Monday. Yep. That's
I'm not meeting with you on Sunday. That's a Lord's Day, so.
Me too.
Monday's fine.
Monday the 2nd is fine. Monday the 2nd, go with you, Ms. Townsend, 2nd. So we will meet next Monday, March 2nd, at 3 p.m. Seeing that there's no other matters of business before this committee, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Made by Mr. McCaffrey, seconded by Mr. Chinolfi. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're adjourned at 3:50 p.m. Thank you, guys.
All righty.